Hey guys, and welcome back to the next video. Today we want to take a deeper look at Queen Charge Lado, the, in my opinion, right now strongest attack strategy, especially when it comes down to pushing. But why is that the case? I will try to explain this in the video, so make sure to watch all of the attacks and I try to explain everything in there. Except that there we have like a couple of more information as well. First off, I will try to upload daily content on this YouTube channel from now on, and let's see how it goes as well. I will have English Discord server opening as well, so make sure to check out the link in the description to be the first on the English and on the new Discord server. I have already a German one, but I didn't want to like mix them up or anything, so I have like a new one, English one, just for you guys, and let's see how this goes. Let's watch the attack. So on this one, on the first one, we try to go into the town hall. Like on the Queen Charge Lado, it's always a main objective, obviously, to take out the enemy queen. Except that you can go for multiple things. Of course, you can go for things like air defenses, but I think way more important are stuff like town hall, eagle, Inferno Towers, and Wizard Towers. Those things are super scary when you're doing your Queen Charge Lalo attack, and always be careful to, well, not lose your queen like I nearly did there, but as well try to figure out the best pathing as well. So what you try to create is pretty much, you try to get deeper into the base to make sure that a little bit of the core is out of the way if you want to have easier time in the Lalo part, because this makes the pathing of the Lalo more slim, which means it's easier for you to actually get through that. On this one, well, I took the risk to not use the queen ability because I will need it later. I use a couple of loons to get rid of the mortar and try to see if there are any more black mines. Then I break in. Then I use the wizard just to make sure that my queen is actually staying inside and she can get along with the next couple of defenses. Except that I don't want to put any more resources into her. I could like try to make sure that she is staying alive or stuff like this, using more rages, etc. But since there are so many ground expos, I would need way too many resources to keep her alive. So I decided, okay, from now on, all of the spells, let's put them into the Lalo part. And what we try to do is actually try to make the town hall more easy to target with our slammer, because the slammer is always a really nice option to go for the town hall. As soon as the 50% is up, we use the slammer to get the town hall, because this means, well, we get the town hall for free. We don't have to use our warden ability over there, so if there are no black mines, we are good to go. I use the warden ability because my warden is flying. I don't know where he's going, like, I think he just likes the queen. That's why he went there, and yeah, I don't know, stuff happens, but at the same time, you have to watch out on those attacks when it's getting close on time. And one more thing is that you actually have to be super good in your spell placement and spell timings. And I think it wasn't perfect of me because, you see the time is running low. And one more thing is, don't overdrop loons like I did on this one. I tried to show you guys like a fail attack in that sense, even though I clear all of the defenses, but it's not a triple, so that's why it's a fail. And it could have been easily a triple if I would have saved a couple of loons, if I would have dropped my spells better. So stuff like this can already save your day, and especially in a Lalo attack, it's a super important thing because Lalo attacks is the strongest, but at the same time, it's the hardest. If you guys think Hawk Riders right now are OP, then in my opinion, you have no clue how to build a base, because in my opinion, Hawk Riders are only OP versus weak bases, because if someone is able to actually like mess up the Hawk Rider pathing and place good spring traps, well, like, what is the point in bringing Hawk Riders when you could bring Lalo? Like, one of the big questions I always try to like ask those guys who are saying, yeah, Hawk Riders are OP. One thing, give me an example. When someone is doing Kill Squad Hawk, Mass Hawk, I don't know, like Queen Charge Hawk, whatever with Hawk Riders, and the places, like the placement of the traps is actually super, super good. Do you think with skill and like knowledge and stuff like this, you could actually make sure that you triple the space if the traps are like on point? and you don't know that, so it's super risky. If I ask you, if you do a queen charge Lalo, kill score Lalo, Sui Lalo, whatever, and you see the base, and you don't know anything about the traps, let's say once again, they are perfect against your entry. Do you think you can make that a triple with perfect placement? And just a spoiler, the first question is answered with no, and the second is yes, you can do it. So, my opinion, Lalo way stronger. I just hope that well, there's not a like there's so many people screaming for Hawk Rider nerf, so I guess it will happen since Supercell lately hears a lot on the community. But let's see. So on this one, I had to wait for the sweeper going down, because as soon as that is happening, I could start with my Lalo part. And one thing which is super important, even if you face 4 air defenses, you don't care. You have 2 hounds, you have 1 slammer, which is pretty much like a hound and can tank a lot. And after that, it's all about that you're placing your spells and the loons on the outside really nicely, so you don't have like any loons flying back or whatever. You always want to have your loons flying towards and not having them like have to go on the outside, inside, and switch all the time, because if you have them on a straight line, it's way better and way more effective. So this is going to be an easy triple in the end, and this was actually just a, I have to say, it looks overpowered, but just was just like a super weak base. You can triple it with pretty much any queen charge. Just do the entry I just did. If you're using queen charge hawks, even queen charge miners, queen charge Lalo like I did, you can do it with any army, any queen charge army, and you will triple this base with this entry. It's super weak. Don't use it. If you're using it, delete the base, copy a new one. So let's get into the next attack. So I will switch over any second, and I will try to talk you through a little bit more about what should you go for regarding the queen charge. Because Lalo, I tried to explain a little bit, but what is the main goal for your queen charge? And this is one of those ring bases I freaking hate. So what should you go for? On those ring bases, or like overall any base pretty much, you should go for the queen, like I said in the beginning. But as well, pathing is a super crucial thing. So for ring bases, for example, you should try to take out at least one corner of the ring to make sure that your pathing is really nicely. So what I tried to do, I tried to avoid, like pretty much dodge the sweeper, not the sweeper, the single throne tower, because next to the queen there's a single throne tower. You don't want to get into a single throne tower too early, or if it's early, like it's just super strategy. Maybe use 1 freeze, but that's it. Then it's okay. But otherwise, try to avoid those, those really annoying single throne towers. Then the next thing, obviously, you try to go for the queen. So what I did, I tried to get into the base next, like a corner next to the queen, which could have worked, but my king already got rid of it, so I'm fine at this point. But yeah, normally you try to make sure that your queen is walking into the enemy queen. And on Lalo, it's a really nice thing that if you think, okay, my queen won't, like, the healers are getting shot, or my queen won't get any more value whatsoever, you can just let your queen die. That's not a huge thing. The only thing, or why it's important, is time. But if you are good on time, then you don't, like, it's not a problem, because on Lalo, you have the rage spells, or like you can use the rage spells really nicely into your Lalo part. For example, on Hawk Riders, it's not working. If you have like 3 or 4 rage spells with a queen charge and your queen is dying, or like the healers are dying after 2 rages, you have 1 to 2 rages for your Hawk Riders. With rages, it's completely useless, because you want your Hawk Riders actually to go slow through the base, so the heal spells have more effect on your troops, because the troops are staying longer in the heal spell. So on this one, on the Queen Charge Lalo side, it's like I just could have let my queen die. It's not a problem. And the only problem I have is the pathing again, because I use too many loons, and that's another thing I mentioned in the beginning, overdropping. Like if you're using too many loons at the wrong points, you will get huge problems. So you see, if I would have saved like, I don't know, 5 to 6 loons, the Town Hall could have went down, especially with me saving the haste spell. at that point to use it for the delayed loons, the town hall would have been down at this point probably. So I have to pretty much wait for my loons, grouping up and trying to go for the town hall, which normally is like, it's not always the case on ring bases because normally your loons are already dead. But yeah, for me, luckily this was not a run star because let's check it out. The town hall versus all of the loons of the world, and the town hall is shooting. It's trying to defend itself, but yeah, there were just like too many loons alive, and yeah, luckily no 1-star. Otherwise it would be 99% 1-star, and thus I think I would have rage quit the video. So luckily I'm still there. it's not a 1-star, but I have one more to go, and let's see how this goes. I feel like right now there are so many anti-2-star bases, so that's why I have a lot of replays about anti-2-star bases. And this is an anti-2-star base which was super popular actually 1 or 2 seasons ago, and I think before that already as well. And it got less and less popular because people at this point normally know how to triple it. I showed you so many replays of how to triple this base with Queen Charge Hawk Riders, but now let's take a look at how to triple this base with Queen Charge Lalo, or at least get close to it. Let's see how this goes. But what you try to do, there are 2 options of this base. The first one is where the queen is in one of those like LAs, I would say. The other option is where the queen is pretty much over there where the multi-mortar is at the top, or like next to the multi-mortar somewhere. On both options, you can do the Queen Charge Lalo thing. Always start at the queen side and try to get into the first couple of compartments, which means the Inferno Tower compartment, and then try to get into the compartment which is behind the Inferno Tower, because then you can reach the Town Hall. Meanwhile, like as soon as the Clan Castle is coming out, you can start off with your king to get rid of the enemy king, or if you're starting on the queen side, like I said, if the queen would have been at the top, then you can use the king to get rid of the enemy queen. So the queen is not like luring your own queen away. That would suck pretty much. So we got the pathing for our queen going. I tried to like see where my other war bricks would go. And at this point, you always know the queen is going into the LA, which means she's not going to the to anything else. She's normally going to the wizard tower and then going around and going to the eagle. So that's what she's doing right now. That's why I started that early with my Lalo at the top. You always know at the top there's this stupid Tesla farm, which is surprising no one at this point, and always a couple of black mines. That's why you should always start off with a coconut loon. And well, on this one, I should have used on this like here my warden, because I lost like 30, okay, not 30, but like 10 loons, which isn't the best. And my queen gets rid of pretty much everything else. We still have the free spell, we still have the warden ability, which at this point is kind of swagged. We use the free spell just to make sure that our loons are getting safely into the last air defense. And that's it. We still have like 1 minute on the clock. We have 3 defenses maybe left, and still a couple of cleanup wizards, the minions, etc. So this should be good. This should be a triple. So we did it. So yeah, use the warden ability way earlier than I did. And don't, like, if you know that the town is out of the way, don't be scared of using the warden really early, just to make sure that you're blocking the eagle shots. If you have like a fast way, or like okay, the eagle's down really soon, don't lose too many loons to the eagle. This eagle is super annoying to loons, and it's a little bit random as well, because sometimes you lose like all of your loons at one spot, and sometimes the eagle's like splitting up the shots on a couple of loon groups. It's super weird sometimes, but you have to watch it and use the warden ability if you have to. So let's check out what we learned today. And if you liked the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and make sure to watch the next video. I tried Valkyries in Legend League, and Valkyries are really, like, a lot of people love Valkyries. But should you use them? And if you use them, how should you use them? I did a video on that. Check it out for sure. And like I said, the Queen Charge Lalo, in my opinion, right now the strongest. I don't think that... I know Hawk Riders are strong, especially against weak bases, and you can easily see that. And especially against bases where the meta is old, which means if you have your king next to their town hall, don't complain about Hawk Riders being OP. That's just stupid. You have to test your base. Like, give your Town Hall and the King away against mass Hawk Riders. Well, that's on you if you get tripled. So don't complain about that one, in my opinion. Queen Charge Lalo and Lalo in general is really strong right now. So if you want to try to learn a strategy, I would definitely recommend to try this out. I know it's really hard. I know most of you guys would probably fail in the beginning, but if you can like stick through it, like try and try, then you will be really good at some point and everyone will admire you. So tune into the next video and make sure to check out the Discord server, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.